ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
We're here.
And we're back like we never left. It is Live Zone here with Off the Ropes. We have personally brought in somebody new. Eric, how you doing today? I'm glad to have you here. And what are we getting into? How you feeling?
How's it going, Live Zone? Good to see you. My name's Eric. Happy to be here. Excited to talk about some wrestling, see some opinions, get to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like to hear it. So we're going to start off with some WWE stuff here for you. Usually we only talk WWE stuff here on Off the Ropes, but we're going to still talk about something else as well at the end here. We're going to start off with Jade Cargill. As you know, Jade Cargill got attacked, and it's anonymous who did it, and we don't know who's done it yet. With Bianca Belair and Naomi losing the tag titles, do you think this has anything to do with it? Did Bianca or Jade Cargill do it, or was it somebody like Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez?
You gotta look to the people involved first. Your Naomi's, it's obviously the name that's circulating the most. It's interesting because she's never really gone heel. And maybe back to the Funkadactyls time when they were kind of one version of a heel, but never really done that. So it's something that they haven't really tried out in a while. If it is her, I'm curious to see. I think that's kind of my main person I'm looking at right now. It's like your typical whodunit, right? Like Liv and Raquel, they're right there. It's obvious. They're getting blamed by certain people. So the way I see it right now, Liv and Raquel are kind of the ones that they're wanting you to look at, but I think the people on Instagram and X and all these other platforms can see that they're trying to pull something new and have Naomi be the attacker.
Now, that's interesting that you say that, because with them losing the tag titles, I'm going to disagree here. I think that is Bianca. I think right now what they're pulling a Triple H and Shawn Michaels, best buds, best friends, D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels coming back, and then Triple H decides to pull the unthinkable, go heel, and turn on Shawn Michaels and act like it wasn't him. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. I'm really seeing them trying to build up Bianca versus Jade Cargill. Yes, you want Jade to be the heel in this situation because Bianca Belair is one of your money makers right now, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, these two need to have some kind of rivalry. They need to. It's two of the biggest female wrestlers in the whole decade, never mind just right now. So for me, I really do think that it's Bianca Belair. I have the feeling that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have nothing to do with it, but at the same time, I could also see them pulling Nia Jax into this, because Nia Jax now doesn't have a storyline, and then you have Jade Cargill go against Nia Jax, where she becomes a bigger face, and then Bianca gets jealous, and then you have the Bianca Belair versus Jade thing happening. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it being Naomi, because like you said, we've never seen Naomi really go heel before, so it would be something different. If it was to happen, could we see Naomi pull off the bloodline, but for the females?
Maybe. I don't know if they're really pulling her in that direction yet. If she was the one to go heel, like you said, though, like it could be the Triple H pull the rug out from under you, what you're expecting, what everyone's talking about on social media. They're trying to go the opposite way. So whether it's Bianca or whether it's Naomi going heel, I think it'd be a bit of a random thing that you don't expect. They're aiming for the not expecting. I don't see a Naomi heel stable bloodline just yet. I think they'd have to get involved in bringing her in a little more. Maybe then you do bring Nia in because she's also got that bloodline too.
Yep.
So maybe they can bounce off each other a little bit.
Tamina
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Tamina, maybe bring her back. I mean, she's
When was the
still
last
under
time she was
contract.
on? It's been a
She's still,
while since we've seen
yeah,
her.
and she's still under contract with the WWE, so it's not far fetched. I mean, I could see it happening. I just don't. I if Naomi was to go heel, I could really see her pulling the whole division over and having Rhea Ripley and Naomi be the stars of the division. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a Liv Morgan fan. I love Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is my favorite female wrestler right now, but at the same time, with like how they could push Naomi, I mean, they pushed Roman and everybody else in the
Mhm.
bloodline to the moon, so we could end up seeing something like that happening.
And
I,
yeah,
I just I just personally think that it's gonna end up being Bianca, and because like they just lost the titles, they need to build something for Jade at WrestleMania because it's getting to the point where Jade is becoming kind of a one hit wonder type of thing going on in the WWE. But at the same time, like you just need something to build her, and the one thing that could build her is having a huge feud with Bianca Belair, in
yeah.
my opinion.
And that's that big Mania match, right? That's the match that maybe you haven't seen much at Manias. We've seen the big women's title matches. You haven't seen many women's rivalry matches at WrestleMania. There's always a title involved or some sort of mixed tag match. If you saw Bianca and Jade just because they hate each other at WrestleMania, it could add a different layer to that show.
Yeah, 110%. Now, one more question for you on the Jade Cargill thing. Do you think that this match needs a championship? Do we need to see them push up either the Intercontinental or United States title for the females, or do you think that this just needs to be like a Undertaker type match where there's no championship involved and just have this two stars go at it?
I certainly don't think they need it. Would it be beneficial? Would it be cool to have a title match between those two? Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have one eventually. But right now, like I don't really see a path to either of them getting a title, especially this close to Mania.
Mhm.
So putting them just blood feud, not liking each other, going after each other, I think that'd be fine.
All right, all right. You heard it here first from Eric and Live Zone about Jade Cargill. What's going to happen in the next coming weeks leading up to WrestleMania? We're going to head down to another conversation. We're going to head down to the Elimination Chamber for the men's side. Eric,
There's
who's
so
gonna
much
win
going on.
this? Yeah, who's gonna win this chamber match? Who are we going to see go against Cody Rhodes, and who do you think deserves it out of all the people that are actually in the Elimination Chamber?
The jury's out, right? Like there's so many ways it can go, which is first of all, well done for
Yes.
having this
Yeah.
many ways that they can go. They can put like superhero versus superhero Cena and Rhodes. They can have the history of Punk Rhodes. They can have the heel ultra heel McIntyre versus the ultra face Rhodes, especially if he says no to The Rock for now and goes and does that and becomes even a bigger face than he already is once he says no to The Rock. Right
When he says
now,
no?
I don't.
When he says
For now, I don't think he's saying yes yet. That's a topic. That's a different topic that I don't want to get too much off track of. But I don't think he's going to say yes just yet.
okay.
But right now, you still gotta lean to that 17th championship for Cena. Maybe it's just my hopes and what I want kind of bleeding into everything. But the the push and the story behind going into the main event of WrestleMania to break the biggest record that can be broken, and because that is the biggest record, they want it to be sport in a way, then it's you want to have the most championships, just like in hockey, you want to have the best thing, whether it's most championships or most goals, like Alex Ovechkin's doing right now. you want to have the most of what people want the most. And so I think it'll be Cena.
Hey, listen, I do not hate it. Honestly, I was going to give you the same response, but I was going to add something into it as well. Listen, there's a reason why Roman Reigns is not in this elimination chamber. He's not getting anywhere near the championship. It's not happening. And for a Roman guy, which I am one of the biggest Roman guys you will ever meet. I do not see him getting there. So that's number one. What does that mean for number two? I don't see Seth Rollins getting there either, because I just have a feeling that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are going to go at it at WrestleMania. So that leads Seth Rollins out. Logan Paul is just there to really boost the numbers up. So I don't think that Logan Paul will be in the conversation. But I do see John Cena beating Logan Paul to win the Elimination Chamber. So those are my final two. And as for CM Punk, I don't see that happening because I think it's going to be a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. I just have that feeling that they're all going to collide, and we're going to see one of the best triple threat matches that we have ever seen in WWE history with three of the biggest stars. That leaves Drew McIntyre. Now, if I'm wrong based off of what I'm saying on John Cena, the one guy that I do see winning is Drew McIntyre. I think that he deserves it, and I think that if you're going to give it to one guy, it has to be him based off of what he's done in the last year and a half. He's been really the whole Monday Night Raw show, and when he wasn't on Monday Night Raw and he went to SmackDown, now he's the whole SmackDown show. Everybody wants to see Drew McIntyre. Everybody likes what Drew McIntyre's doing. Everybody likes Drew McIntyre as a heel. He's doing what we wanted him to do back in the early 2010s. I mean, but
Yep.
we're seeing Drew McIntyre be the best version of Drew McIntyre right now. And the fact that he hasn't gotten a title reign based off of it is just showing why he deserves to be going against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And if he does go against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, I see Cody Rhodes turning heel with The Rock, and I see him
A
siding with
double
The Rock
turn.
at WrestleMania, the same way that Vince McMahon signed with Stone Cold signed with Vince McMahon in 2001. I really do see that happening. And then we see Cody Rhodes as a heel, which is what everybody wanted, and then after that we see Drew McIntyre come out on Monday Night Raw the next day or next week, whatever it is, and say, "Hey, I told you so." And then that's when the feud starts between Cody and Drew. And that's a perfect storytelling right there. The only way though that I don't see John Cena winning this match is if he gets an Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. That is the only way he does not go after that 17 world title. So with that being said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from it, but the two guys that I'm looking at is John Cena and Drew McIntyre.
Yep. I totally agree. Those are good points, especially moving into Mania. What Cody will or will not do, I agree with you 100% there. Same thing. Cena's still kind of the guy I'm expecting for that.
Yeah, definitely 110%. All right, as you guys know, we have a little sponsor here that you can see in the left wherever it is, left-hand corner over here. We got Viva Tequila Seltzer. If you haven't tried it, go try them. They're really good. I mean, I think that they're awesome. So I know that the one that I was liking a lot was the grapefruit one. So yeah, just sit back for the sponsor and we'll be right back.
No, sir, no, they won't stop here. Let the voice
Go get some Viva.
Yes, sir. Go get some Viva Tequila Seltzer. Watermelon, lemon. The lemon one is the newest one. They have coconut over there. They have grapefruit. and I'm pretty sure that they have elderberry as well. So got a few flavors over there that's underrated. So make sure you go get some for yourself. We're gonna head over into the tribal chiefs headspace here. Yep, put up the ones. I love it. So with Roman Reigns not being in this elimination chamber, and with Roman Reigns going a different route, we haven't really seen what Roman Reigns is going to be doing at WrestleMania yet. The only thing that we have had is him fighting with Seth Rollins and CM Punk at the Royal Rumble. Uh, what's Roman going to be doing? What's the storyline? What are we going to see? Is Roman going to be successful this year at WrestleMania, or is he going to fall to a guy like Seth Rollins or maybe CM Punk?
It's kind of cool, right? Because this far in, and like we still haven't really heard from Roman since the Rumble. He's kind of taken a back seat again, which is good for now, but he's coming back after the.
Yeah.
I believe this is the last PLE before Mania, if I'm not mistaken. They normally have a bigger gap between the
Yep.
last one and then Mania. So I would go back to your point in what we were talking about before, the Roman Seth and the Roman Seth Punk option is probably what's most notably on the table. But if that does happen, you still have to have The Rock in the back of your mind, right? Because yeah, he's doing this stuff with Cody right now, but that's still got to happen eventually. Might not be this year, but for my money, that Roman Rock has to happen eventually. There's got to be seeds planted in some way.
Correct. I definitely agree with you. I like how you brought up The Rock. The other thing that I want to bring up is Solo Sikoa. We still
Okay.
haven't seen what's really going to happen with Solo Sikoa now, because he kind of just left the bloodline hanging, even though it really does kind of look like him and Jacob Fatu are going to clash heads. So maybe that
It could
could
just be
be,
that.
yeah, maybe that could be what's happening with Solo. But with Roman, it's really, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Roman Reigns. But if I was to bet on it, if we're going to go with a one-on-one match, I'm actually going to look the other way. I'm going to look at CM Punk for Roman Reigns and have Roman Reigns and CM Punk go at it with Paul Heyman doing Paul Heyman things and maybe turning on Roman Reigns, because we haven't seen Paul Heyman be a face for a long time like that.
Yeah, don't forget that favor.
Yeah, exactly my point. So that's definitely something to look out for. But I really just have a feeling that it's going to be this triple threat match. I have a feeling WWE knows that Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins has to happen. Now they're adding CM Punk into it because CM Punk has ties to both Seth Rollins, because he brought Seth Rollins into the Shield when they didn't want to bring him into the Shield. And then after that, he also has ties to Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns has the wise man Paul Heyman as his manager, and Paul Heyman was CM Punk, I should say. CM Punk was the one of the first Paul Heyman guys. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of storytelling that they could do. There's a lot that they could build up. They don't got a lot of time to do it, unfortunately, because if they had a lot more time to do it, it would be 10 times better than what it's going to be. But can this be the best triple threat match that we have ever seen in WWE?
It can, because there's so many different elements. I probably think I've said that 2 or 3 times already, but with that match specifically, like I almost expect to see. Obviously, they're not going to get along for long, but you might even see the quick, hey, like let's remember we both hate Punk, because as much as they hate themselves, they know how to work together, Seth and Roman. So
Yep.
there still might be that little bit to stick it to Punk one more time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Now, the thing that I'm also looking at, I tend to look at triple threat matches, and the one that I tend to go towards is Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. That usually is the best triple threat match that I can think of in my head, just based off of Ruthless Aggression era. I know that you're high on the Ruthless Aggression era. So that's one that like is just embedded into my head as, hey, this is the one that you go to. So do I think that this can be better than that? The answer is I think it could be just as good. I don't think it can be better than this, because when we saw Chris Benoit go against these two, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought that Chris Benoit was going to win the match. Not one single person thought that he was going to win that match. And he ended up coming out on top and winning the championship. So for me, it could be as good because of the storytelling behind it. But like I said, I think that they need a little bit more time to build the story and get that story out there. Yeah, they've been doing it for maybe 2 weeks with Seth and CM Punk, but where has CM Punk and Roman been? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where has the storyline between Roman and Seth been? It's been there, but it's been non-existent, not talked about, not pushed. You know what I mean? So because of that reasoning, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Ruthless Aggression era fan. Maybe that's like, it's because I've been told so many times that Ruthless Aggression era is just like, it's in a box for me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the best. But we shall see what happens with it. I don't know what's going to happen with Roman. I just hope that Roman ends up being on top, because if you ask me, Roman is top 3 wrestler in my eyes, and he's still wrestling. So
Easy. It's
yeah,
an easy argument. There's
So
so many arguments you can do these days with who's at that Mount Rushmore, but
yeah.
he's got as good of an argument as any.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that disagree with me with that, but I'm still here with the ones up, because we the ones and they the twos, of course. But we shall see what happens with Roman Reigns. Now we're going to talk about something that I don't usually talk about. I don't usually
The
go
other
past.
direction.
Yeah, I usually don't go past the barrier of the WWE, because when I went past the barrier of WWE once before, it nipped me in the butt, and I haven't talked about a company since then. And if you're thinking about what I'm thinking about, you know that company and what I'm talking about. Vince McMahon wants to get back into wrestling. Vince McMahon wants to compete against WWE. Do we see Vince McMahon build up a company? Do we see Vince McMahon buy into a different company, aka AEW? Do we see Shane and Vince run a company against WWE? What are we really looking at here? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Vince is going to go against his old company? And if he does, do you think it could be as good as what WWE is right now, or WWE has been in the past?
As good? No. Simple answer. Build up, buy in? Maybe. Maybe you see that that blood, that wrestling blood doesn't stop. He can't stop, obviously. He doesn't know how to stop. And good on him. He wants to keep going at 70 whatever that he is now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think anything that's current at all these current top places, AEW, TNA, Japan, I don't know if they'd need to go back to some of his styles that worked then, obviously, or else we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking, or whatever, stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe there's some sort of new idea that can be brought to the forefront of kind of giving new opportunity, trying a new way, keeping old school wrestling alive. Maybe the NWA, which kind of
maybe that might be.
which is kind of more old school still, and that he was obviously a part of way back when and probably knows a ton about.
Yeah.
But competing, being just as good as content wise, I just can't see it. It's a different world now where WWE is, even on top of everything else. So
Yeah,
I can't see that.
I mean, yeah, I agree to an extent. Put it that way. I think Vince McMahon can compete. The problem is that Vince McMahon is not going to get any talent to come his way because of what he did in WWE. That's the problem.
Yeah, look how many
So
people came back when it all happened. Gargano,
exactly.
Ciampa.
Exactly, exactly. But there's dozens of people that came back. Look at Ricky Starks right now. Ricky Starks is in NXT, so that's another thing to put onto the list that WWE is doing right now. And I hope they build him up because he deserves it. If it's
Mhm.
somebody that deserves it that wasn't in WWE before, it is him. It is Ricky Starks. I really do think that he is a great talent.
Yeah, that
But
Saints name's going to take some getting used to.
yeah, it's always going to be Ricky Starks to me. I'm sorry. Yeah. But the only way I can really see him competing with WWE is if he buys out AEW. That's the only thing. And
Mhm.
if he does buy out AEW, it's not just going to be him. It's going to
Oh,
also
no.
be Shane McMahon because Shane McMahon has been very vocal on trying to buy AEW. So I don't know if I see it happening. I don't think I could see him going against WWE because I don't think he can go against his baby knowing that he wanted to come back. But if he was to, it would be either one, buy an NWA and make NWA relevant again, or two, it would be buy an AEW with Shane or Stephanie and maybe plot it over to WWE the same way that Vince Russo went to WCW and plotted for the WWE. I still think that that was a whole fucking thing that happened.
It's funny. It's like
So,
its own storyline, right?
yeah. Yeah.
The best
So,
storylines are the ones that are real.
yeah, 110%. So, if it's me, I'm looking at don't mind the dog. I'm looking at I'm looking at Vince not coming back. I wouldn't bank on it, to be honest with you. But if it was to happen, great. More competition for WWE, and WWE can become 10 times better again, right?
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's interesting, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's a lot that could happen. There's a lot still to happen with WWE and everything that's going on.
That's
Uh,
WrestleMania season for you.
Yep, WrestleMania season is here. It's the biggest time of the year for wrestling fans. If you're not getting in on it and you're a wrestling fan, you need to catch
You're
up
missing out.
because there's a lot of things happening. A lot of things happening right now
Mhm.
as a WWE fan. That's all we got today. Before we close it out here, we're gonna give you one more ad. If I can find it, it would be great. Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. I mean, if you haven't
Mm.
tried their steaks yet, what are you doing? Got the best steaks on in the United States, honestly, in my opinion. They're thick steaks. So if you haven't, go check them out. But we'll be right back. We'll close it out right after this ad. All right. As always, that was Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. We are here every week talking about wrestling, as always, off the ropes. Sorry we haven't been getting it to it the last few weeks. We were dealing with some things. We were adding Eric. We were figuring out some details for it. Now we're here. We're going to be here every week. Content coming to you guys. And it will be posted on the social medias. Eric, you want to give out your Instagram or anything like that to the people so they can go follow?
Sure thing. Yeah, it's just Eric Dominguez 2002. Lots of wrestling, lots of stuff going on. It's a perfect time of year for it, so keep listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. I do want to point out that Eric was also at the Super Bowl. So congratulations on that. Hope you had a good time. I know I did, seeing the Kansas City Chiefs lose, but that's for a
Didn't we
different
all?
time. That's for the extra point. Maybe we'll bring you on to the extra point sometime with me and Kyle. But as always, you can find me on the East Coast Sports Investors profiles. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope everybody enjoyed. We'll be back here next week talking about some more things. And as always, you gotta stay tuned.